Okay, so back to work on question 3. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're asked to differentiate this. So once again, we're going to go in, we're going to differentiate, and we're going to end up with 4x cubed minus, and the 32 will disappear into 32. The next question we're asked, for what values is f of x equal to 0? Okay, so f dash x is actually, as we said, it's 4x cubed minus 32, and that equals 0. So what we might need to do here is we're going to bring over the 32. Okay, so we're going to get 4x cubed equals 32. Now we want the x on its own, so the first thing we need to do to get the x on its own is get rid of this 4 here. So maybe divide both sides by 4. Okay, so what we can do is we can bring the 4 underneath, okay, and get rid of the old 4 what was here. Okay, so now we have x cubed equals 32 over 4. And as we know about 32 over 4, it equals 8. Okay, so that equals 8. And now what we need to do, there's a button in your calculator. It's the question in English is what number when multiplied 3 times by itself gives you 8. So 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 is 8. Now if you aren't able to do this in your head, so the x is equal to 2, but if you aren't able to do this in your head, there's a button in the calculator called the cube root. So you press this button. This button means what number multiplied 3 times by itself gives you a certain number. Put the 8 in there, and this will come out as 2. Okay, next thing. We're once again going to go for the product rule. Okay, so the product rule is, so for this question we're now going to do the product rule. Okay, so the product rule is as follows. We know that this is a product rule because there's clearly 2 brackets to be multiplied. This one here is going to be u, this one here is going to be v. Now in order to do this, we got to write down what u and v is. U is 2x squared minus 1. Now to sort this out, what we need to do is we need to differentiate it, and the u dx ends up to be 4x. The next thing we got to do is got to get v in there. V is 3x plus 4. Now we need to differentiate it to get the v dx, and the v dx, which differentiate v. We know when we differentiate 3x we get 3. When we differentiate any normal number, it disappears in the same way that the 1 disappeared. Okay. With this in mind, we now use this formula to find out what the result is. Alright. So u times the v dx is going to be 2x squared minus 1. That's u. The v dx is 3. Plus v times the u dx. And v is going to be 3x plus 4. And the u dx is going to be 4x. Now we're at the stage where we got to start multiplying these. So we're going to multiply 2x squared by 3, then minus 1 by 3. 3x by 4x, then 4 by 4x, and see what answers we get for this. Okay, so what we're going to get is 6x squared minus 3 plus 12x squared plus 16x. Look at the x squared, bunch them together, and we get 18x squared plus 16x minus 3. Okay, next question. The next question is going to be the chain rule. The reason I've identified this as a chain rule is there's a bracket, a reasonably complicated bracket with a power outside it. Now when doing the chain rule, what we got to do is we always differentiate. We always bring the 4 to the front, so 4 goes in front. The power always goes in front, so that's a 4. 4 ends up at the front. Okay, we write down the brackets that it was the power of. We take 1 away from the power, which leaves us 3. Now what a lot of people always forget to do is you always forget to differentiate what's actually inside that bracket. So when you differentiate what's inside that bracket, you get 2x minus 4. Now as discussed with the previous example is we're not allowed to multiply this one here. This bracket here is safe, okay? It's protected. You cannot multiply anything into it until you by BOM-DAS, okay? So if everybody remembers BOM-DAS, it's basically operations come before multiplication. So therefore this is an operation and you're not allowed to multiply it. So what we can do is we can multiply the 4 by the 2x minus 4, and that answer would be 8x minus 16 into x squared minus 4x cubed. Now, for this specific question, we're told to let x equal 1. So if x equals 1, 8 times 1 is 8, minus 16. 1 squared is 1. 4 times 1, which is 4x, is 4 cubed, okay? And what we're going to end up here is with minus 8 into minus 3 cubed. Now, I'll just go straight to the calculator with this. No worries about anything else. Minus 3, and then we just cube it here. And what we get is answer of 216. Okay. The next question is, find the coordinates of the turning point of the curve and state whether each point is a maximum or minimum turning point. Now, contrary to the question we did earlier, this is an x cubed equation, which means it has 2 turning points, okay? So which means that we're not going to need the second derivative rule this time around. We just simply need to find the one that has the higher y value. So for turning points, what you got to remember off by heart is that dy dx equals 0. Please remember, this is not in your table, so you do need to know that off by heart. Dy dx ends up to be 3x squared. Bring the 3 to the front, take 1 away from the power. Likewise, bring the 2 to the front, take 1 away from the power, which is minus 6x1, or basically just 6x. Okay? The 4 is a regular number. When regular numbers are differentiated, they disappear. Now, to find out what basically is going on here regards the regards 0, we got to solve this, right? So what I suggest is we factorize these two. You'll see that 6 is divisible by 3, so we can take out 3. Also common to both of these is x, so 3x leaves x minus 2, and this is equal to 0. We put the big split in the middle. Now we know that 3x equals 0, or x equals 0, or x minus 2 equals 0, which means x is equal to 2. Now, with this in mind, we go further down, and we need to figure out what the y values are, because we know they're turning points, okay? So the equation is y equals x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4. So all we got to do to find out the corresponding y values is we just got to replace x with 0 for the first one. So we get 0 to the power 3 minus 3 times 0 squared plus 4. And that turns out to be 4. So one of the turning points is x is 0, y is 4. The next turning point is going to be x equal to 2. So it's going to be 2 cubed minus 3 times 2 squared plus 4. That's minus 4. Okay, so I made a mini mistake there, okay? It's always a good idea when you catch out your mistakes early, because it saves a lot of waiting around. Okay, so minus 4. So that is a minus 4, which makes that 0 minus 4. Okay, and this one's also minus 4. Okay, so let's see what happens here. This is going to be 8 minus 12 minus 4, which gives you minus 8. So the second turning point is going to be 2 minus 8. Now what you're going to know is which one of these has the lower y value. The y value is the value on the right. This one has minus 4, this one has minus 8. Therefore, minus 8 is smaller than minus 4. This point is the minimum point, and this one here is the maximum. Okay, reasonably standard question, okay? Now we move on to the next question. Differentiate each of the following. Now we've done a good few of these at this stage, okay? So we should be able to do these fairly handy now. Dy dx is 2x minus 3 for the first one. The second one is going to be 6 disappears, bring 3 to the front, minus 3x squared. The third one is a product rule, so we'll freeze it here. Okay, so the third one is a product rule, okay? So once again, we identify that two brackets are being multiplied by each other, okay? So we just do a quick list in the corner. U is 1 minus x, du dx is minus 1. V is 3 plus 2x. Differentiate that and we get the v dx is 2. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put in dy dx, figure out what dy dx is. And dy dx is going to turn out to be, we're going to put in u, which is 1 minus x, bracket the v dx, which is 2, plus v, which is 3 plus 2x, into du dx, which is minus 1. Tricky one here, we're going to multiply these out. 2 minus 2x minus 3 minus 2x, because 3 times minus 1 and 2 times minus 1, 2x minus that. Okay, so we're going to get is minus 1 minus 4x. Okay, next one. Now, I'm going to immediately identify this as a chain rule because of the power on the outside, okay? So what we're just going to do is very easy, like so. We're just going to put dy dx out here. We're going to bring the 6 to the front. Got to take 1 away from the power. And then we have to differentiate this. And when we differentiate that, what we're going to get is 6x minus 2. Now, once again, I told you that the middle part is protected, so you're only allowed to multiply the 6 by the 6x minus 2. And when that happens, we get the following answer. We get 36x minus 12 bracket 3x squared minus 2x to the power of 5. Very handy. Okay. Okay, so the next one we identify as a quotient rule because we can obviously see it's a big fraction in here. So we're just going to go through the usual quotient rule rules. Okay, so u is 2x squared minus 1. Differentiate this, and what we get is 4x. Okay, v is 4x plus 2. Differentiate 4x plus 2, and what you get is 4. Okay, because you drop the x and the 2 disappears. Okay, now we're going to just put down what dy dx is. Dy dx is going to be v times u, which is 4x plus 2. 4x plus 2 times the u dx, which is 4x, minus u times the v dx, which is minus 2x squared minus 1, times the v dx, which is 4. Okay, and this is going to be all over 4x plus 2 squared. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to multiply these out. So 4x by 4x is 16x squared. 2 by 4x is plus 8x. Now, what I'd like to do here is we can bring the 4 over here, forward a little, okay? So this might make it a bit easier to multiply that. So we just get rid of this minus here and get rid of the 4. When you combine minus and 4 together, you get minus 4, okay? So we're just going to put in a slightly different color pen here. The minus 4 goes to the front. Then we can multiply it out slightly easier than we would have otherwise, which gives us minus 8x squared plus 4. Okay? This is all over 4x plus 2. Now keep in mind that x is going to be minus 1. Okay, I'm just going to tidy up a bit more before I put in x minus 1, just in case we're asked anything like this. So it's going to be ax squared plus ax plus 4 all over 4x plus 2 squared. At this point in time, replace all x's with minus 1's. X minus 1 squared plus 8 times minus 1 plus 4 all over 4 times minus 1 plus 2 to be squared. Now, what I'd recommend when doing these questions is to, like, it's a lot, if that's a tough calculation to make, so maybe just do the top on its own and then do the bottom. So it's going to be 8 minus 8 plus 4. You're going to get 4 on top. Do the bottom one separately. The bottom one separately is going to be minus 4 plus 2, which is minus 2. When you square minus 2, you also get 4. And 4 divided by 4 comes out as a nice simple 1. Okay, quite handy. Next question, right? Once again, one of these equations where we're given the distance in centimeters this time. So, right, distance in centimeters. We know it's distance because of s, and it says the distance that has traveled after t seconds is given by s. So s is the distance, okay? Just gotta read the keywords in the question, okay? It starts at t equals 0. So now we accumulate all our information, okay? So question 1. What distance has the marble travelled when t equals 2? So s is equal to 14 times 2 minus 2 squared, which is 28 minus 4, which is 24 meters. Okay, handy enough question. Part 2. What is the speed? Speed is the first derivative of ds dt. Okay, so speed is ds dt, which means we need to differentiate this. Differentiate 14t, you get 14. Differentiate t squared, you get minus 2t. And then we have to figure this out when t equals 2. So let's put in t equals 2. You get 14 minus 2 times 2, which gives you 14 minus 4, which is 10. 10 meters per second. Okay? After how many seconds is the speed of the marble equal to 0? When the speed is equal to 0, it means ds dt, or v, is equal to 0. So v is ds dt. ds dt is 14 minus 2t, and this has to be equal to 0, because it says the velocity is 0. This means that 2t equals 14. Therefore, the time must be 7 seconds. 7 seconds. How far will the marble travel before it comes to rest? Okay, it comes to rest in 7 seconds time, which means it has 7 seconds to travel. Okay, so if we put this into the distance formula, we should find out how far it actually will travel. Okay, so s is equal to 14 times 7, because that's the distance formula, minus 7 squared. And what we get here is 7 times 14 minus 49. We get 49 meters. Nice, easy question there. Okay. We got to do another differentiation for first principles. So once again, you're just going to write down all your steps. And then all of it over h. And then finally the limit. H approaches 0. F of x plus h minus f of x all over h. Okay, let's begin. Now it's x squared minus 6x. We know that f of x plus h. Now remember what I said earlier, okay? I said in the first section, x plus h squared is x squared plus 2hx plus h squared. Okay? Check out video 1 if you want to find out where we got that from, okay? We've done it before. So we're going to get x plus h squared minus 6 times x plus h. And as discussed before, this here means that it's x squared plus 2hx plus h squared, and that's going to be minus 6x minus 6h. Now, combine them together, and what we get is x squared plus 2hx plus h squared minus 6x minus 6h. And then we've got to watch out for the minus. I keep telling you this. I will repeat this one though, right? Got to watch out for that. It's minus, brackets x squared minus 6x. That is where the mistake comes in. That's why I have it in a different color. Remember, there's a 1 here. When you multiply them by minus 1, what's going to happen is it's going to become a minus x squared, and it's going to become a plus 6x. And if you compare that down the line, what's going to happen here? The minus 6x will cancel with the plus 6x, and the x squared will cancel with the minus x squared. And as predicted, everything on the next line has a h in it. So we have is h squared plus 2hx minus 6h all over h. Cancel the h squared with the h. That h cancels that h, cancels this h, and long behold, you're going to be left with h plus 2x minus 6. 2x minus 6 is the answer we're looking for. Now the limit as h approaches 0, so turn all h's into 0, so h approaches 0. Excuse me. So what it's going to be is h plus 2x minus 6, and this h turns into 0, leaving f of x equals 2x minus 6. Okay, nice and easy. Next one. Already identified this as a product rule. Okay. Okay, I'm back on talking duty. Okay, so the next one we're going to do the product rule, okay? So u is equal to 2x minus 1. Once again, we're going to differentiate, and we'll get 2. V is x squared minus 2. We're going to differentiate this as well, and we're going to get the v dx is 2x minus 2. Now the 2 wasn't meant to go in there because it's a normal number, so it's actually the derivative of v is actually 2x. Okay, so now we're going to put it in and put it into the product rule, alright? So we get the y dx ends up to be u times the v dx, so u is 2x minus 1. The v dx is 2x plus v times the u dx. The u dx being 2. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply these out, and what we get is 2x by 2x is 4x squared, minus 1 by 2x is minus 2x, multiply 2 by x squared, and you get plus 2x squared, minus 2 by 2 gives you minus 4. Now, you notice that 4x squared plus 2x squared is 6x squared, so we end up with 6x squared minus 2x minus 4. Now we're told the y dx equals 0, and we have to find values. Values is a plural, okay, which means that there's going to be more than one answer of x. So this is a quadratic equation, and it's going to look very much like the minus b form that's going to have to be used. So ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So where a is going to be 6, b is going to be minus 2, therefore minus b is going to be plus 2, okay, and c is going to be minus 4. We get the minus b rule over here, it's going to be minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So when we go down to the next section, we're going to figure this out here. Okay, so with this in mind, what we're going to do is we're going to get the values for x. Okay, so the values of x will be minus b, which is going to be plus 2, plus or minus the square root of minus 2 squared, minus 2 squared, minus 4ac, which is 4 times 6 times minus 4, And this is going to be all over 2a, which is going to be 12. 2 times 6. Now, the most immediate thing to do is to put this into your calculator right here. This part here, in this purple circle, needs to go into your calculator straight away. And we got to figure out what value that is. Damn you. Okay, so what it turns out to be is plus 2 plus or minus 10 over 12. Okay, and what happens here is we'll get the following values. We will get 2 plus 10 over 2 plus 10 over 12, or 2 minus 10 over 12. So this one turns out to be 1 because it's 12 over 12, which is 1, and the other one turns out to be minus 8 over 12, which is, so minus 8 over 12, which turns out to be minus 2/3. So x is equal to 1, or x is equal to minus 2 over 3 for this specific scenario. Okay? Now, okay, so the next question we got to do is we got to find the slope, and hence the equation of the tangent to the curve, right? If anybody remembers, the slope is always dy dx, okay? And it gives us the specific point. It tells us that x is 1 and y is minus 5. So we need to get dy dx at x equals 1. When you get dy dx, you end up with 2 in the front, which gives you 4x minus 5. You replace x with 1. So 4 times 1 minus 5 is 4 minus 5, which gets you minus 1. So the slope is minus 1. Now, it's asking for the equation of the tangent. A tangent is a line. And because it's the equation of a tangent, we're going to use the equation of a line formula. Y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. M is the slope, y1 and x1 is the points. So y minus minus 5 equals minus 1 into x minus 1. We multiply this out. Y plus 5 is equal to minus x plus 1. Bring the x and the 1 over. Okay, so you'd end up with x plus y. The 1 turns into minus 1, which gives you x plus y plus 4 equals 0. Okay. And finally, the last question of today, which is the equation of a curve. We want to find the coordinates. We're going to find dy dx first and foremost. Okay, so dy dx is easy enough to do. We differentiate, we're going to get 4x minus 6, and we're going to find the coordinates of the curve at which the tangent is parallel to the line y equals 2x plus 4. So the tangent, once again, tangent is parallel leads to the word slope of the tangent. And we've done this several times already. Slope of the tangent means dy dx, okay? So we've got dy dx, and now we're looking for the slope of the tangent. Now, we're going to use the equation y equals mx plus c. This is in your maths tables. Now, compare them. The number that comes in front of the x, the coefficient of x is 2. Hence, m is equal to 2. M is the slope. And remember, this means that dy dx, which is the slope in differentiation terms, is 2. So 4x minus 6 is equal to 2. Bring over the minus 6, and we get 4x is equal to 2 plus 6. 4x is equal to 8. X equals 2. Now, it's not enough just to find the x value. If you read the language of the question, it says coordinates of the point. That means you need both an x and a y value. X and a y value. Currently, we know that the x value is 2, but what is the y value? Go back to the start and insert it into the formula. Y equals 2 bracket 2 squared minus 6 bracket 2 plus 3. 2 times 2 squared is 8. 8 minus 12 plus 3, which gives you minus 1. Therefore, the answer is the point 2 minus 1. It has a slope of 2. The slope of 2 is actually parallel to this line. And that is all for today.